12 Golden Kamuy review. Yeah, like the final episode, it was a good episode, and of course season 2 is coming in October, which is great, but it felt a little strange, right, for being the final episode. It felt, I mean, it depends how you look at it. I mean, I guess it's good. They just know that this is popular, we have the budget, they're just gonna make new episodes, yeah, so they just, just continuation on like the current storyline, yeah, they just keep going, I suppose, and that's really good. But on the other standpoint, it's like, man, this is a really weird final episode, because it's just like, they go to the tracks, there's no, like, it's no cliffhanger. I mean, it's just kind of every episode has a cliffhanger, because it's a very thrilling, very, I say it, very highly paced, good anime. So of course, every episode has a cliffhanger by itself, and yeah, it just kind of felt like any other episode, right? It felt very non-final, both in good and bad way then. So, so I want to track then. First of all, Foxy Lady, right? Kitsune, which of course are always tricksters, and that is something that's a very typical Japanese thing, right? If you have the sly eyes, right? You have those kind of eyes, and like she has, of course, with her also kind of her facial painting and so on. Then you are a trickster, right? That's very, very Japanese. Like Kitsunes, Tanukis, and so on are very much, tricksters in the myths there. So of course she has like fox around her and so on, and they're like Fox Lady, and so on. But she is definitely appearing again, right? I mean, I'm a blind watcher, so I have no idea what's happening in the manga, but I have a hard time seeing that she's appearing again eventually. And to me, by some sort of episode here, I think she definitely knows Asipa's father, right? It seems to be very much like that, and she's like, you have the same eyes like him. I recognize you kind of your personality, yeah. So that seems like that, and does it mean she's evil? Maybe she's probably more. Her father seems to be evil, right? Maybe, given the storyline. She's probably like near to evil, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But she's probably allied to him, I suppose so. And probably trying to lead him, right? To kind of like go and save him so she can be with him for whatever reason. Maybe she's his love, or whatever, yeah, something like that. So I will guess at least from what's happening there. But interesting character nonetheless. It felt really funny though. Like she's sitting there, she's like, "Oh, I have my spirit fox, a white fox is especially powerful." I was like, "Gambling." Yeah, it's like, it's time to use my godlike powers to number 4. That's like, oh yeah, that felt a little wrong there. It's like, I will pray to God, tell me what horse will win now. Yeah, but it was funny. Of course, Shirashi is cray, and it's good how she's always like, "I'm single, you wanna go out?" And she's like, "No, but I can sell you this bracelet for 25. That's an interesting character. The root thing was the weirdest thing. Like, so he's a smelly root. Can you just go and find his own? It's like, pay 70 cents for it. It's like, but yeah, interesting. She obviously did still believe in that. The horse racing was brutal too. The horse racing, yeah, they started to kill each other. It wasn't the classic game. It's called road rage, like road racer, where you or motorcycle can punch each other, you can kick them off the steal stuff and so on. Yeah, it was that kind of racing, like in the completely illegal moves. Nothing matters. You just get the first place. My kind of racing, yeah, that was good too. And we guess Ugata, I guess he's joining the old man, right? Seems to make sense. I mentioned during the reaction, I was like, yeah, like why not, right? He's obviously against the 2 in it. If you've seen the ending, we've seen the 2 in there, and yeah, like why would he not join the other side, right? His best chance of survival after trying to do the whole mutiny that failed. So that makes sense. He has 1 tattoo, right? It's like, I give this tattoo, and if you give it that, you'll join the, it's probably how it's right. We see, of course, that the traps arrive, which is great, like the greatest trap ever in anime. She can both make a lot of traps, and she's like, for 50 years younger in her trap form, which is amazing. So she survives, and another like, a cute girl told me. It's like, she's a cute Sia. That was good. Told them in the end there about a robber or a thief or whatever that saw, another skin, I guess, in some shops there. So they wanted to sit there. And then in the end, we see the 2 and 7 Legion there, with the weird ear thing, and they do see someone in the graveyard. I guess in the graveyard portion, is someone new then, right? So and yet a new character, probably not to the person, probably someone else, maybe allied to the father, yeah, some other faction, right? I guess a new faction there. That being said, though, it's kind of ambiguous there. But my understanding, though, but I would guess that it's happening. I mean, it might be someone who's a grave robber, but I do think that this, right? Someone was working in his coal mine. They died because accident happens, right? This is like 100 years ago. Someone died in the coal mine and so on. And then someone else was like, well, that person that died was likely one of the prisoners. So they went there, right, in the grave robbed to get the actual skin, right? That makes complete sense immediately. That they would go for the actual, they didn't want to have the body and they want to have the actual skin. Because otherwise, grave robbing was not uncommon before, right? Like especially in London, so they had a lot of grave robbing, and they took the bodies to like the research hospitals and so on, to the doctors, so they can try stuff and people, stuff. Yeah, some weird stuff, right? So grave robbing and actually selling the actual body, just the body itself, was definitely an occupation that was like going on in Europe for like, I think at least like 400 years or something. So yeah, probably a little more. And also you had the whole Emily Sola writes about this thing, which is pretty good. Can't remember the book. Emily Sola at least, and he writes about in his book there how the people would go to the morgue, right? You would pay money, or you were free sometimes, but you usually pay money to look at the bodies, right? That was like this, like, oh, you're 10 years old as a kid. You get like, one shield from your parents. You would go and like pay the money so you can go in and look at the different bodies, right? And play with the corpses. So yeah, that was like the kids together, right? Yeah, that was like a typical, fun time, in like the 9th century. Yeah. So I think in normal situation, someone would definitely probably steal bodies in Japan during that time frame. Definitely possible, even though that gives you really bad. I can't remember the name for Japanese now, but if you work with dead bodies, you get a really bad, not karma, but you kind of like karma. It gives you bad points for you become a tainted one. So yes, few people would, but definitely someone would do it, right? But you definitely become tainted. So, but this here station, no, it's probably because of the back skin. So sorry for my ranting, but this station here is probably because of the skin, right? Not to get the body and become a tainted one for some reason, right? Because God, I can't remember the word now, but that's a very interesting Japanese cartoon here. If you work with dead bodies, you become tainted, and I can't remember the name right now, but that is a big issue why a lot of people are reckless today, because their ancestors were tainted, because they worked with like skinning and graving, and they worked with like burial and so on. That gave their whole family for generations. Still to this day, they were like lower caste, right, in the Japanese system. And most of those children today are Kusayan because they can't like get a job or so on. But it's trying to decrease that. That's a big reason why there are a lot of Kusayan in Japan. Can't remember the name of that. But it's very sorry, but that's a very, very important thing in Japanese culture at least. So also, and definitely this as well is also a reason why you probably wouldn't rob the bodies that much. You probably want the skin right because you don't want to become a tainted one, whatever that is called, but you don't want to become that. So that also is a big reason why it should be getting the skin, not just getting the body, because again, like, you would lose not karma or whatever point system they have for that thing. You would get that on you, and they would fail. Yeah, so that's not the reason why. I just can't remember what it's called right now. I'll write in the description below what I'm talking about. So anyway, hope I see you guys, and I'll see you then in October for season 2 of Golden Kamuy.